Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to be doing Woolpall coming out soon. Um, Hit level 63 yesterday. So Woolpall actually has a decent chance of getting okayish items. Just a lot of Dios and a lot of Noxes, Sigmas that you can turn to Lambda Grinders, or you can turn them into just X Cubes or Photon Spheres. But like every good UQ, it's also a big pile of EXP. So, probably going to run this as much as I can before jumping back into Vax. Um, Another thing of note is like why I have the second character to begin with, and like one of the most predominant reasons actually is the ranking system. So if you go to the Visiphone, you can go to Rankings, currently in progress, and there's 4 different categories. Rare container, simple enough. You see a red chest, you smack it, and you get bonus fun and you get bonus star gems if you're in the top 100. So I'm not going to get that, but personal quarters. This is just if you keep visiting people, like their actual homes. This is why you actually have some people just staying in the lobby AFK with like a little message under the name, just like visit my personal quarters. And then time attacks. That's the one I'm actually interested in. Get this character to level 75. If you do one solo, one just half decent solo, you should end up in the top 100. And as soon as you do end up in the top 100, right, you get that bonus fun, you get that bonus star gems, right? And I'm just curious if they limit it to one server or if they allow you to have multiple. So if they allow multiple, right, then it's just more star gems in my pocket. So yeah, Woolpall just does a whole bunch of mini bosses, large amounts of mobs. You're just trying to get the 1500. It's pretty easy so long as the group sticks together. And that's fairly regardless of difficulty. It doesn't drop any rising weapon badges, 1 or 2. Well, I'm not sure. I haven't tried it on Ultimate yet. But I'd be surprised if it did. Generally, they don't update the old UQs. I should probably do this actually for the tri boost. So I noticed I didn't say it in any of my other videos. If you are playing the game and you don't know about this, it's definitely something to consider. Go to game settings, and you can actually, in the auto pickup, you can have it actually pick up your material items, and you can have it immediately pick up 13 stars. But more importantly, you can also change display rare animations. So I have mine set to 10 stars or more because that's when you can start throwing everything in the swap shop. So if you notice that there's actually a lot of rares dropping, yet I'm only getting the once in a blue moon rare drop animation, it's because a lot of them are just essentially garbage that I would just throw away anyways. Or they would just cost me more just to identify than what they'd actually be worth. So, just something definitely to consider when setting up these settings. Another thing I noticed is that I say particularly a lot, and I'm going to try and cut down on that because that was a bit too much. Also trying to, I kind of have like that little gahuck kind of laugh reflex, trying to break myself to that habit too. But overall, this is going pretty smoothly. Probably by the end of it, I'll be about level 64, 6 levels away from Ultimate, which is where things for the most part become relatively easy. Ooh, might get a PSE burst. We are getting a PSE burst. And how many people... So what I'm trying to do is encourage people to use their megs. You get a longer duration on your meg the more people actually that pop theirs when you're popping yours. That's why if you hold it, there is that circle. See, they're doing it. Just and it doesn't look like a lot of people joined in. So yeah, you can get that all the way to like all 12 people in an urgent quest doing it, and then it kind of looks like your screen is having a seizure, but it is actually quite helpful, especially at dealing with these mobs. And on top of it, your megs count temporarily as player characters, and because of that, more enemies will spawn. See, there we go. Circles are overlapping, so they'll both summon at the same time. So, what you'll generally do is at the start of a PSE burst, everyone that has it will quickly pop it. The idea is quickly, because you want to do it as you want to save as much as the PSE time as possible. And so, generally, someone will start. You immediately go into it, and you immediately, like as soon as everyone's popped, because you can actually see if they have their especially in parties. If they have their meg, by their little icon will be highlighted. So I know Rock, for example, does not have his meg ready to go, but Jonathan does. Oh, what was that with the sound? We'll just keep going until the crossburst is done. If there was no crossburst, I would just immediately hit that magical retry button at the center. Important thing to note is that when you get a crossburst like we have here, you'll always automatically get a one more. which means that it will reset and give us another 60 seconds. In an ideal world, you can get up to 5 one mores, and that's just big piles of EXP. While it's incredibly rare, you can get the lightning dog. So if that spawns, you're going to have 12 happy people, just because huge piles of EXP. Okay, so we're magging. Oh, got another crossburst, which means we also get another one more. I won't even know what to pick up at the end of this. There's too many red boxes. I only have so much inventory. So even though it does the rare drop animation, right, like I have no way of identifying which one is the actual 12 unless it's the actual item. So like if this sword was 10 star, I would know, but oh, so we do have the Sigma. So Meg. So this is one of the rare UQs where you can actually get away with doing this. There's some, like, Gone with the Wind and the Rain, that if it's a PSE burst, I just don't care. And the amount of people that don't care is quite high, because it's all about getting those bosses. At least in Ultimate. So, but Wolpal is all about the rare drops and the EXP, so having constantly spawning enemies like such is, if anything, just more ideal. I'm already almost 65. Well, 60%-ish. Here comes the other one more. Maybe pop our Meg out, see if anyone joins in. Oh, we got 2. So you notice we all, for the most part, stick pretty close together. It's because enemies spawn where the players are. But more importantly, there's only X amount of spawns that will actually spawn. So let's say 1 per player, right? 12 enemies. If 3 of them end up spawning away from us and we leave that particular area, they don't despawn. They just literally stay there, and we end up with less mobs overall because someone moved to a different area. So you generally always want to stick together. In like a 4-player situation, ideally you'd go somewhere like in this corner here, and you would just shoot off any ranged attack you possibly have. The enemies will just keep spawning in front of you or next to you. Either way, in a position where you can kill them. So it looks like this is probably going to be the end unless we happen to manage to get another crossburst, but I doubt that. There we go. I'm not even going to bother with that loot. There was a place that dropped anything I particularly needed, curse, anything I needed, I would have probably scoped it out. But I don't really need a Nox or Sigma. And yeah, that is Wolpaw.